No, stand still.
All right, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Tuesday, May 9th, 2023 Select Board meeting. We are opening our meeting in open session right now. We are being recorded and broadcast by Cable Access. We'll then enter into executive session and then reconvene here in open session again at approximately 7 p.m. So with that, can I have the motion to enter into executive session, Dennis?
Yes. Motion to enter into executive session to conduct strategy sessions in preparation for negotiations with non-union personnel or to conduct collective bargaining sessions or contract negotiations with non-union personnel. Finance Director.
Second.
All right, and we have three of the members here today right now. I do expect Stephanie and Seth any minute, but we'll go ahead and take a roll call vote to enter executive session.
Mark, yes.
Dennis, yes.
Leah, yes. All right, great. We'll see you back here at approximately 7. All right, welcome back to the May 9th, 2023 Select Board meeting. We are being broadcast on and recorded by Cable Access. We've just come out of executive session. It's about 7:17 p.m. and we're going to reconvene in open session. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, great. So going into item one is the Select Board reorganization. Our election was last Monday. No contested questions on the ballot with only little over 300 voters. And we welcome Stephanie back for another 3 years. Thank you, Stephanie. So with that, we always reorganize as a board at the beginning of the meeting following the election. I will continue, and everyone will continue in their roles and capacities that they're in today throughout the rest of the meeting, just for clarification. And then the new roles, if any, will be effective May 10th, so as of tomorrow for the next year. All right, so we're going to go in the same order that we typically do as long as I've been on the board. So we'll start with a motion for the chair, and then vice chair, and then clerk. So anyone? I can start.
Please.
Okay. I've had a great 2-year run as chair. It's definitely a lot of work, and I am coming into the last year of this term. I'm not sure, what exactly will happen next term. We'll see. But I'm willing to take a step back and let someone else on the board be the chair. Obviously, I'd like to still see some things continue and move forward. But I do think it should be someone who has experience as being chair. John is obviously very experienced, but is new to the town. And there's quite a bit of work in the transition right now. So I guess it's a long way of saying I would like to nominate Doc as the chair, if you would accept it for the next year on the board.
I would.
Any other motions or seconds? Any seconds?
Well, second.
Okay. All right, great. So we have a nomination, we have a second. We'll take a vote for Doc as chair. Unanimous? Okay. All right, motion for vice chair.
Steph, if you're willing to keep that on, I nominate Steph as vice chair.
Second.
Yeah, okay. All right, great. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. And clerk. I don't mind being the clerk unless you want to keep it, Dennis.
I don't mind either way, so.
I'll nominate Leah.
Okay.
For clerk.
All right.
Second.
Okay. It's a tough job, but someone's going to do it.
Right,
and you've
right.
already had your year, so. All right, great.
Awesome. Vote.
So we have a second. Okay, and all those in favor? All right, great. So we've got Doc as chair, Stephanie as vice chair, and I will be the clerk of the board. All right, great. All right, so we'll finish out the meeting, and then this will become effective tomorrow. All right, thank you for your patience while we handled that business. So next up, we have the finance director contract, and we are not ready to execute that yet, so you will see it on our next meeting agenda as well. So we are going to skip executing that contract. And next is the alteration of premises. It is a public hearing, so we should start with that public hearing notice, please. Well, if you want to come up to the table and get yourselves ready, make sure we can see anything that you have over here. And we do have in the packet whatever has been sent over thus far in front of us as well. Yep. And I will preface the board just by saying I have had a pre-meeting on this just to kind of hash out any wrinkles or big questions that may have come up or that I may have. So it's a big change, but it's pretty straightforward. Not that it's even really that big of a change, but just know that I did have that meeting with Jess and John and the police chief to try to kind of get any of the big things out of the way that we thought were, and there were a couple things that we did work through there as well. All right, so public hearing notice?
The Board of Selectmen, acting as the local licensing authority pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 138, will conduct a public hearing on Tuesday, May 9th, 2023, beginning at 7:10 p.m. in the Gala Meeting Room, Town Hall, 40 South Street, Foxborough, Mass., on the application of NPS LLC, doing business as Gillette Stadium, manager James Nolan, 1 Patriot Place, Foxborough, Mass. The premises for alteration of premises for an annual all alcohol on premises license. All interested parties are welcome to attend.
All right, great. So we have your maps here. Can you see those from TV okay, Mr. Beck? All right, great. And we have a presentation up here. So if you could just introduce yourselves and then go into the application that's in front of us here, and then we'll let you know what questions we have.
Absolutely. I'll kick it off, and I apologize for my voice. Allergies are kicking my butt lately. I feel like I'm not alone.
No, my head's foggy. Yeah.
What are you taking, Claritin?
Whatever I can get my hands on.
Benadryl,
Or
anything?
both.
Yeah, little cocktail of different allergy meds. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how tonight goes. Good evening, Chairwoman Gibson, members of the board. My name is Tom Miller from McDermott, Quilty & Miller in Boston. I'm here on behalf of NPS in this application for the alteration of premise. I'm joined by Jess Enos and Jim Nolan, who is the COO and manager of record for the licensee. As you know, this is an application for the alteration. I am going to leave it to the people who are most familiar with this to actually describe the process to you, describe the changes to you, and bring you through the presentation. So I'll kick you.
Great. Thank you very much for the opportunity to present tonight. I think, as you know, Gillette Stadium's undergoing a very large renovation in the north end of our stadium, and I'm going to talk a little bit about how that impacts the liquor license. The last time we changed the footprint for Gillette Stadium was back in 2018, and I have that. I'll move forward in the deck here. I'll let you drive, Jess. But on the left is our existing liquor license footprint for Gillette Stadium. And that liquor license covers through what we call the North End Plaza, or Lot 4A. And I'll point it out here. And what it also encompasses is the entirety of Gillette Stadium itself, our practice fields, and our field house. So that's what exists today. So with this alteration of premises, we really wanted to do two things. One is we wanted to redefine the north end of the stadium, the North End Plaza. We wanted to incorporate the West Roadway into our liquor license. And then within the existing stadium, we just wanted to talk about level by level the pieces that are going to be new, where alcohol service will occur. So, alcohol service previously occurred, both in the North End Zone Plaza and also in this area of the stadium. With the stack we're building, there are, layer by layer, there's different pieces. So, with respect to the North End Plaza as it exists today, and as the chief will attest, when we operate alcohol within that area, we're required to fence in, with perimeter fencing, the area where alcohol is served, so that someone just cannot walk into the space and walk out of the space. And that's been very successful with what we've done. The benefit of what we're doing in the North End Plaza now is we're changing our security line. So what we used to do up until last year is we would bring people through the plaza, and the security screening would occur between where the ticket office is located and where the pro shop is located. And once you were security screened, you'd walk 10 feet and you'd have your ticket scanned. So when we operated kind of outside of that area, we would have bike fence, double rows of bike fence. We'd work with the chief on the location, and we'd serve within that footprint. What is going to significantly change with the way we are operating on a go-forward basis is we're moving our fence line on game day to the perimeter of what we're asking for in the new liquor license. So this on game day is going to be a secure line, and our security screening is going to happen out here. So from a public safety perspective, it's better because instead of queuing up a lot of people in tight, we're able to screen out here. Once they're in here, we don't screen them again. We call them sterile. So we know that they don't have any metals, they don't have any guns, they don't have any knives to get into the building. But what this does for us is on event day, this gives us a hard perimeter out here. So in the past, when we'd operate, we create a perimeter inside with smaller fencing. This now becomes the true gate line. Additionally, we're going to screen at the top of the Patriot Place grand stairs. So this will be another location where people can come down to the plaza. So screen at the top, screen out here. So this entire area, if I use a Patriot game day as an example, this entire area, people, anyone even without a ticket can come in here. To get into the stadium with a ticket, we have 3 specific locations. One, this is our Ticketmaster ramp, where people will have their ticket screened. We have a new grand stair over here, where people will have their ticket screened and walk up the grand stairs. And we have a 3rd location behind the Hall of Fame, where people can get in. So what we're asking for with this liquor license footprint is to basically have the liquor license footprint mirror our new secure fence line on game day. And one specific thing with respect to the Patriot Place grand stairs, the Patriot Place grand stairs are not included within our liquor license footprint. It literally starts at the bottom, same way it does over here today. So if you're a patron up at Patriot Place as part of that zone, when you get to our screening line, no alcohol can go through our screening line. So the grand stairs, no alcohol can come down into our footprint. I mean, it's our same measures. You can never bring alcohol into our footprint. Additionally, at these grand stairs, as well as our gates, no liquor can go out. So I kind of look at the stairs as a free zone where the patron has been screened for security, but they're not within our liquor license footprint itself. What this is going to allow us to do, it's going to enhance our activations, because that's where we have a lot of sponsors and a lot of interactions. And one of our additional goals is to try to pull people into the stadium earlier. Because as we know, at football, people come at the last minute. So that's the North End Plaza. The second piece from the I call it from the, outside of the brick and mortar walls of Gillette Stadium, we'd like to incorporate the West Roadway. Again, we would only operate in that area when we have perimeter fencing set up. So what we did last year from a security perspective is we brought our security screening out to here. So if you were coming, I call it south on Route 1, and you walk up, you would be security screened right here. Your ticket screening would occur here. If you were coming from what we call our West Club lot, you would be screened right here or right here at the 2, we call them cut-throughs. And then lastly, if you came from across the street in P10, you would be screened here before you hit Bank of America Plaza. So similar to the North End, on event day, this entire section is patrons who are screened. So it's controlled by fence line, it's controlled by the chief's personnel and our team ops security. And what we're asking for is similar to how we used to activate in the North End Zone Plaza. On event day, we would like to have the option of operating on the West Road. Again, it would be a secure line with no alcohol being able to be brought in from the outside and no alcohol from the inside being able to get out. And then the last piece down here, when we operate training camp, we do have liquor service in our training camp footprint. But the way we establish our training camp is patrons are screened out here and they're screened here. So on a training camp day, when we've set up that fence line, we'd like to give the ability for someone who's bought their beverage here, who wants to head up and look at our activations up here, to be able to do so. So with respect to the exterior of the building, it's it would operate only when we have that secure fence line set up. And in those scenarios, whether it's training camp or event day, the chief's people are engaged in the process. When we'll go to the next slide.
Just, can I mention one thing here, just because I kind of struggle with this one, and maybe like Steph and Dennis, or if you've come in I call it like where the Foxboro lot comes in, is like that area next to the blue, it is on different levels. So
Yeah.
so the fence is before the multiple levels start, is before the road kind of starts to go like this, Jim, like one goes up and one goes down?
Yeah, this comes down.
Okay,
and this
okay.
This goes up and this,
Okay.
Yeah,
So it's before that. Okay.
yeah, so like on a Patriot game day, when we establish this as our secure perimeter, this is the only place that we would be serving alcohol. We would not do it in a place that didn't have secure fence line. In a training camp, when we established the secure fence line from the middle of the West Roadway down to here, we could only operate within that. And that's why when in the description that we submitted with our alteration of premises, it specifically says with secure perimeter fencing and gates. So when the gates are up and it's controlled, that would be an opportunity where we could serve. You know, on every non-event day, it's not secured, we wouldn't be serving alcohol in that space. And that's on the exterior of the building. In the interior, I thought I would just walk level by level of what we're doing.
Jim, can I ask one question?
Absolutely.
Because we're right here. So now that you're pushing everything out in the security lines, is any of that congestion as everybody's coming in, like going more into like parking lots? Or are we going to have all that crowd, you know, almost,
Yes.
you know, where the road is or,
Yeah.
you know,
So,
do you know what I'm
Yeah, I
asking?
do, yeah.
yeah, so
Especially at that entrance is
Yeah.
where the one that I come
Yeah.
out.
Yeah, so starting in 2001, we began incorporating a new security screening technology that is much faster. In the old days, when we go back to 2019, that's when we had these huge, massive queues of people when we were using what's called the magnetometer, the thing you see, you know, in many locations. Once we shifted to these new units called the Evolve units, the people come through, at first, people were coming through faster than we could scan their ticket. So we would have no backup at the security line, and now at peak times, we create a backup at the ticket line. You know, so in each of these areas, if I take here where we do the security screening, we wouldn't back up on the outside. What we would do is back up where we're scanning tickets.
So it's almost like we'd back up where we used to back up.
Yeah, because right now, it seems like when you're going through security, it is truly like a walkthrough.
Yes.
Like, and everyone is almost like, oh, I'm okay. Like, we're all like stopping a little bit because you don't know if you've been screened or not. And they're like, nope, you're good. Keep going, keep going. But so, I guess each year it seems like it's gotten better. And I think, I'm not telling you anything you probably don't know. I think the problem is people finally come up to, you know, and now that we're paperless, they get up there and either they don't have the tickets pulled up or sometimes the Wi-Fi isn't great up there or whatever. So do you guys have anything in your mind of how to get the actual scanning of the tickets quicker?
Yes.
It's almost user error. It's not what you guys have planned. It's user error that's backing everything up.
It's partially user education, so that as as time goes on, people get better at it because they know, you know, like if I told you to save your ticket to your Apple Wallet, you'll save a lot of headaches. We tell people that it saves a lot of headaches. The second thing, over the course of last year, what we found and tested is that the physical pedestal ticket scanners, the ones where you put your thing under the device and you walk through a turnstile, those are faster than someone trying to, one of our security people with a handheld scanning it. So over the course of last year, we built up the number of the pedestal scanners that we have. So we invested in that infrastructure. And so what that allowed us to do is we had ended up with more, and what's nice about the pedestal scanners is we can have one employee manage two, okay? So you don't need it's 1-to-1 when you have a handheld scanner with the supervisor behind. Now it's 1-to-2, or if it's working well, it can be 1-to-3. So we've filled those spaces with the pedestal scanners. And we also think in the North Plaza, by spreading it out into 3 different locations, it's going to further disperse that. By having all the pedestal scanners there, it gives us the ability to use the additional people and the additional handhelds. We call it bursting. When we start backing up, we can give handheld scanners to additional employees who kind of pull people off to the side. And, when we have, if we have 2/3 of the people come to a Patriots game show up within a half an hour, we know there's going to be some backup. But we measure it, and that backup has, the worst we saw last year was 10 minutes of ticket scanning. What we like about the sequence is back in 19, when we had those lines, none of those people waiting in line were screened. So you don't know what anybody has on them at that point in time. Now we brought that the people waiting in that queue have been screened. So the security risk is greatly diminished because the people who are in that queue have been screened. So that's kind of it's a non-alcohol benefit, but that's a tangible benefit of what we're trying to do. But our goal is for people to be able to walk right into Gillette. That's the ultimate goal.
Something, what we learned quickly is that, so obviously I have season tickets, 2 tickets, I have my daughter behind me, so I'm putting it through, and then I'm getting through the turnstile, and I'm backing up. So we've learned to, it might be even something that you send out an email blast. It's probably better if people forward their tickets to each person individually, and some people do, but if you have 3 or 4 tickets on your account, and then I realized, if I let her scan her own, I'm through. I'm not trying to come back and put my phone back under again. And but live and learn. Like we as time goes on, we've learned what seems to be easier. If everybody did that, it would probably be a little bit quicker too.
Yeah. And I can pause for questions on the exterior, or I can run through. The interior is a little more straightforward. So all of the components of our new structure in the building, that sits within the existing brick and mortar of Gillette Stadium. Essentially, we took out, in front of the Cross Pavilion, we took out some old concession stands, and we've built a structure between the east and west of the stadium. So I thought I would start at the top. The top, we're going to have at the top of the lighthouse, we're going to have an observation deck. It's intended on non-event days to be open to the public. It's intended on event day to be incorporated in some way into each event. So it might operate differently for a Patriots game versus a Revolution game versus a concert. But that's a location, that has no direct service. So if we were to do any service up there, it would be, a portable. But what it's really intended to be is for people to go up during a game as a group, enjoy a portion of the game, and then have another group come up. So that's the lighthouse, and that's accessible by 2 elevators that go all the way from the ground floor, stop at the Globalization Partners atrium, which I'll talk about in a second, and up there. And it also has, as the building commissioner would attest, it has a safety, life safety stairs for exit. The 300 level.
What's the capacity?
I don't think we have an official capacity yet but it's probably about 50 or 60 people can fit up there between inside and outside. Inside, you're probably talking 20 people. It's a relatively small, but when you come out, there's a glass wall that envelops it, so you can walk, all the way around the exterior. What's really neat is is you can actually see downtown Foxborough from the lighthouse, which was kind of cool. Until you get up there, you never know what you're going to see, but you can see downtown Boston, Providence to one side, and then you can look down and see, you can literally see Foxborough, the top of Foxborough Commons, so it's pretty cool. The 300 level, we're not adding any new concessions locations. So the real key to the 300 level is it bridges the east to the west. So it was a pain in the neck for people who came in the west who had seats on the east to walk all the way around to get to their seats, whether that's an employee, whether it's a guest. So we've connected the east to west with the large, wide concourse. So right now, it is literally movement from east to west, and we're not adding any service to it. We certainly could at a later date, but that won't be any part of our 23 plan. The next level down is our blue level suites, and similarly, connecting, and I won't keep repeating myself on every level, but for patrons and for staff, connecting the east to west is gigantic, because to walk from one side, and if you walked from section 101 or section 301 all the way around, it's almost a quarter mile. So it's huge. So the blue level, we're connecting east to west, and we're adding 2 new suites. So those are end zone suites. They kind of look straight up the field. And they're literally the next suite over from the last suite in the north.
When you say blue zone, blue level, that's like the top of the 100s?
So our suite levels, we call them by color. So one is the blue. So maybe start at when we look at Gillette Stadium from a pure perspective, we have the ground floor, which is the field level. The next level up, we have our admin level. The next level up is the 100-level concourse.
Okay.
The next level up is our club level, where right now we have the 2 Putnam clubs. The next level up, we call it our red suite level.
Okay.
The next level is the blue suite level, then the 300.
Okay, so I guess I didn't realize it was 2 suite levels. That's what
Yeah.
was, okay.
Yeah, so we have 2 suite levels, and both the red and the blue level mirror each other. But so both on the blue suite level and on the red suite level, we're adding 2 suites. So a grand total of 4 new suites, all end zone suites. The club level, we're adding a new club. It's going to be called the GP Atrium. It's been announced, and on a Patriot game day, it's going to operate similar to the Optum Field Lounge, wherein you have to be an existing season ticket holder to be able to buy into that location. So it's not adding new bodies into the building, it's just giving an opportunity for our existing 60,000 season ticket holders who want something more to use that space. And then on other event days, we'll operate it similarly with different constituents. But what we like about that space for non-event days, it gives us a new function space. We do a lot of business in the Putnam Club, in the Optum Lounge, in the Cross Pavilion, and this is going to be, a beautiful new space. It was made without any columns in the middle, so it's basically a wide open room. We think it's going to be very attractive 365 days a year, regardless of what we're doing. And in that location, it will be similar to the Putnam Club in terms of services, or similar to Optum Lounge. We'll have bars, we'll have food service, and all things like that. The 100 level, the 100 level's really been reimagined in that end zone. It used to be one concession location, one big concession location in the back, a beer garden, and a lot of portables. But by having to go back to the bare studs, as they say, what we're able to do is reimagine it. So we've added 2 new bathrooms. So we added a giant women's room, and we added a giant men's room right at the bottom of the Bank of America stairs on the 100-level concourse. We added 4 new family bathrooms in that same location. We added a new guest services location, so now we'll have 5 guest services locations. We added a new merchandise location, so where you can buy your hats and T-shirts, and then we have multiple new concessions locations in the end, in that end zone. So the people coming into the building, we have over 2/3 of the people come into the building from that end, either through the Bank of America gate or through the Ticketmaster gate or New Grand Stairs, and they'll all on the 100-level land in this beautiful new space. And then on the field level, this is very similar to the Optum Field Lounge. We're putting in a new field club. So in the corner where the Patriots run out onto the field, we've taken a small corner of that space, and we're gonna have a new field club. And that will be for about 200 people, so just to show you that that's not big scale. But the people in that location, I'll use Patriot Game Day as an example, will be able to watch the team come out of the locker room, because we'll have glass on the service tunnel side, and then literally they'll walk around them as they run onto the field. So that, kind of in a short overview format, that's what we're doing inside the building.
A lot of changes. And do we lose a lot of seats doing that, or no?
No,
seats? Okay.
no. Not sure on the final number, but it's somewhere around 100 or 200 seats that we're losing. Because we lost some when we put in the field club. We picked up some in the suites. And then what I didn't mention is we're reimagining our row of honor, where we honor the military. And by reworking it, we're actually picking up. It's going to be a much better tribute to the men and women who serve our country, but it also picked up some seats back. So we're roughly the same as where we were in 2022.
Okay, is that the end of the presentation?
Yes.
Okay. All right, great. Chief, why don't you come up, because I think we all want to hear from you, that you feel comfortable and safe with all this. Yeah, or right there's perfect, yep. Is that good for you there, Paul, if he's over there? Yep, okay.
Good evening, everybody. That's an awful lot to probably take in if you don't walk 100 miles per event. But I'll kind of add on to what Jim Nolan has kind of tried to explain in regards to the perimeter. The perimeters are all designed, and the security perimeters are all designed for the safety and security of the events. So that is our starting point for all of these events. And what we've been able to do is we've been actually working on this for many, many years, is to try to expand the gates and the crowds at the gates and make them more secure. So this has been happening already with the pre-existing footprint. So the north end zone is now going to expand even greater. So that way we can get more people who have been checked in a secure area and not have backups at those checkpoints. From the police perspective, that is a win. It also allows us to manage the trains coming in from the north and south, because now they have a destination area to go to and not have to go to other places and work against some of the crowd flow numbers. So the north end zone is really just expanding it slightly more, but I can tell you on all the events, the gates are our priority, and where we focus our police and security operations. So from the town standpoint, it's extremely well regulated, especially in regards to the alcohol issues. Obviously, the alcohol issues are on the craft group to manage their own sales and who they let in, screening for intoxication, and making sure they're not allowing people into that area to be served. That's still all on them. And we support them in that role, but that's ultimately their responsibility with their license. So I guess I'd like to kind of take on the expansion. Let's talk about each section at a time, so we don't get go all over the map. So if anybody has any questions on the north end zone part, I think that would be the easiest to tackle.
No,
first.
the only question I have up there is, so let's say it does queue. Does that mean people are queuing up the stairs now, essentially, or down the stairs, whichever way you looked at it?
So they're going to queue in Patriot Place.
Okay.
So anybody who's got like field tickets for a concert, they're going to queue in Patriot Place as they come across P11 or other side of the stadium. They'll go through the security checkpoint and then go down the stairs.
Okay.
So could people go up the stairs? Yes, I can tell you most people always want to go down the stairs. And if the signage and the notifications are in place, we avoid that.
Okay.
So Chief, too, so when we extend the blueprint of the liquor license, so basically, that's why as you're hitting a certain point by the stadium, there's big trash cans. So you dump everything, whether it's a beer, whether it's a water, a soda, so.
Purse.
Yeah, exactly, something too big, an umbrella, whatever you're
Hopefully,
not
things
supposed to
have
bring
gone
in.
well. They have been
Yeah.
notified. They're not getting that close, and they've already been
Yeah,
turned around.
so when we make the blueprint out, that's why the security part is outside of there. So it's the same thing, so you're not allowing people, so if I bring a beer into Gillette Stadium, I'm actually bringing it illegally onto their liquor license.
Correct. It's a violation.
Yeah, okay.
So anybody coming into the North End Zone Plaza is not bringing alcohol in, period. Those are all being dumped. I mean, is someone going to carry one across the parking lot? Let's be realistic, absolutely. But their staff will screen that, dump it, and then it's, as the term was used, that's a sterile area.
Okay.
Good? Any other
Yeah, no,
questions?
so what's that gate called now? That one's
It's gonna be the gate where people are being screened, it will be the Ticketmaster.
the
gate.
Ticketmaster gate. Okay, all right. So then Bank of America, let's go over that. That's west, right?
So the whole west side of the stadium. So the perimeter that you see presented is not new. We've been using this all last year and establishing that perimeter for security checkpoints. The request now is to look at that area and maybe have some functionality use out of it. One of the things that when we deal with the crowds on the police side is we see merchandising. We see people who are just trying to get to the gate and get in. And I think the attempt is to try to provide some of those services outside of the ticket area, but in a secure area, so the movement of people getting to their seats is faster. The west side is definitely smaller, and it definitely has some flow issues with the amount of people that travel through that BOA gate, that or Bank of America gate. So I do have a couple recommendations on that I would just like to present to the board. Is obviously the fencing conversation, and we had a big full-blown meeting April 27th on this. This isn't like a new concept. This has probably been in the work potentially for over 2 years. But fencing was definitely, I needed that hard perimeter. I can tell you, as part of this security model, that perimeter exists anyway. So this is just complementing that security perimeter for the whole stadium for any alcohol being served. But on the west side, the only thing I asked is obviously the fencing has been met in the request for all the secure area. But one thing I'd have a concern with is potentially is pedestrian flow with some of the setups that could go there. Like vendors. So I would like the authority, or at least the stipulation, is that we do not impede pedestrians for vending stations. That really be something that's looked at, because that flow is so important, and it's a big part of the amount of people coming into the stadium. And ultimately, if there was an issue, that as the chief, I would have the authority to require or have that relocated if I saw something that was a concern.
And I think that's in our draft motion. We have that.
Yes, so that was town council. We were working on it, and with John, and I can tell you the working relationship about any of these potential pop-ups. They all get vetted in a process before any event, and we're aware of it, and our offices are out there, the checkpoints, if we see a problem. But I just don't want to get into a situation where I don't have the authority to require it be moved. So that west side is pretty simple. It's just taking that roadway, what's already in place. There's already a secure perimeter there. We already use it, and just utilizing it to have the alcohol footprint expand.
It's essentially that little parking lot
It is.
between the main parking lot
Yeah.
and the valet.
Yes, for if you go up for the medical facilities.
Yep.
But it doesn't expand into the parking lot in lot 22.
Right, just that little one right there.
Yep. And then lastly, I call it the bubble. Maybe I'm showing my age, go down to the bubble. But that is just connecting the bubble up to that roadway. And I think, Leah, you were trying to explain the two
Yeah,
different
is there
roadways.
an actual pedestrian, like, what in my mind, in the picture, is there an actual passable paved roadway between the two levels, or?
There is. I sent you a picture.
Okay, but
on your phone.
at the pinpoint where it hairpins out at the end, you can actually fully walk around that.
Yes.
Yes.
So it essentially just kind of, I think there's, training camp has always been a great draw, family, and sometimes there's things that they would like to expand up a little bit.
Okay.
And what happens is we end up with a checkpoint where they can't bring the liquor up there.
Okay.
and
It's
they
basically
can't
up
bring
the
it-
hill.
And that's it. It's not a huge drinking event, but it does end up being something that has to be monitored on a regular basis, and it would actually streamline the process and kind of connect the dots.
But for game day, we don't anticipate there being any alcohol out there because that's really
No,
where they're.
that's one of the main,
Okay.
yeah, no, that would be a negative.
Okay, I think I'm good on, are you guys all good on the footprint?
Yeah.
It is your all alcohol footprint, so everyone, we say this to everyone, has to be tip trained, certified, or whatever it is for you guys. That's important for everyone. And then Chief, do we want to just kind of go into the ounces piece while you're up here?
I think we should do it after.
Do that separate, okay,
Yep.
okay. All right, so I'm good, I don't have any questions. Anyone on the board have any questions? This is a public hearing. Anyone in the audience have any questions about this? No, okay. All right, so we'll move to close the public hearing.
Motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, and then we do have a rather lengthy draft motion here with a couple of conditions that, again, we've already talked about, so nothing should be a surprise. But just bear with us, it is a longer one.
Okay. All set? Motion to approve the application for alteration of premises submitted by NPS LLC doing business at Gillette Stadium dated April 14th, 2023, relative to the licensed premises located at 1 Patriot Place, ABCC license number 00013-R5-0426, as detailed in Section 2 of the alteration of premises application, subject to the following conditions. If alcohol is to be served in the west side of the stadium in North Plaza, there shall be a security fencing enclosure for said areas. No serving areas located in the expanded license premises shall impede pedestrian ingress to or egress from the stadium, and if the chief of police determines that pedestrian gate ingress/egress flow rates are insufficient in these areas due to the location of serving areas, the chief of police may restrict the use of or order the relocation of any such serving area.
Second.
Under further discussion, are you okay with that? It does mention serving areas, not vending areas. Do we need?
That's
You're
fine.
cool with that?
That's
Okay.
fine. I have
All right.
no concerns.
Any other conditions that either of you, John or Mike, feel we need? Are we satisfied with what's in here? Okay. All right, so we've had a motion, we've had a second. I don't think we have any further discussion. So all those in favor?
Aye.
All right, great. Okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, sorry, I did have one question. Sorry. Now, there's a lot of changes happening, and Taylor Swift is big, and that's our first event. So, parking, I don't think that the ticketing piece will be as new, because like you said, we've been doing this, at least in the West, for a while. Anything else that we need to talk about, or concerned with it being the first one? I think we've vetted through everything, but
In regards to Taylor Swift concert?
just the first event with a lot of changes.
No, not really.
Think we're ready.
No, I think all the changes are designed to speed up the process and make it more efficient.
Hopefully it all goes okay, because we've sure talked a lot
It's all about
it.
messaging and arriving early. I just can't stress it enough.
Yes.
That is going to be everything. I think Jess is going to go around to every guest, knock on the door and tell them you got to come early. And that will
Started
really
last
help.
month.
The good news is we couldn't ask for a better demographic, knowing what we know just about them from an age standpoint, gender, everything that we've gathered about this demo, and what we've done too with advanced trips to this tour in other cities is just found out they are early arrivers, which is great.
Which will help their new,
Yes,
But
they're
for-
early arrivers, and they are also a really well-behaved demographic as well.
all right.
Is everything running on time? I think the goal was for the beginning of football season 23. Are you guys
Yes.
pretty much on time?
We're on-
So
we're on-
everything's, all construction's being done and everything's a go?
But still construction for the concert season.
Yes.
Good.
Yeah, but, I mean, the good news is, like, we practiced Taylor with every football game last year with the work zone. The space inside the building for the public is larger than it was for football. And then even adding the two new bathrooms, we really wanted those to come online for Taylor. So the new bathrooms will be online for Taylor Swift, which is that's another one of our problems we try to address. So that'll be very helpful too.
All right, great. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, so up next, and I apologize to the Founder's Day Committee, I know we started late, now we got a little behind, so I really apologize to you guys. But we just wanted to talk about the alcohol regulations. There's a piece in the regulations that the chief has brought up that we just wanted to talk about, make sure everyone was good with. I don't know if you want to kind of start and lay the foundation a little bit more. I'm sure you've all seen what's in the
Yeah, so I
packet.
think it's important for the board to always be informed if there's any kind of changes going on, even if I have the authority and the regulation. But one thing I think we've encountered is kind of a gap, or our regulation doesn't actually allow us to authorize. So going back, beer was always the issue, but now we have seltzers, hard seltzers. So we actually have no authority within our regulation to regulate the size of those beverages. And so that is definitely a trend, what's happening, not just at Gillette, it's happening nationwide at the other stadiums. The NFL does have a 25-ounce, that's their max. That's what the NFL says, that's your max. You can't serve any more than that. The alcohol content between a beer, a seltzer, and a hard seltzer, they all vary between 5 and 4%. So it's not really an alcohol percentage issue, but I would like to kind of be ahead of the curve here, and I think I drafted a memo for the board to actually give us some authority moving forward to control these beverages at 25 ounces across the board, and not run into, I don't know, if we could see 32 ounces, 40, I'm getting a little, dramatic on that. So I'd just like to see if the board would be interested in kind of tackling this, and it's kind of, I'm gonna call it like, amending the regulation, just to kind of catch up with the times. Town council has already weighed in on this, and we've been going back and forth, and gave us excellent guidance as well. We started off with, we couldn't authorize a certain amount of beverages beyond the 22 or 24 or whatever it is, but then we learned very quickly, actually, we had no authority because it wasn't a beer, and our regulations don't really address anything beyond that.
Yeah, so this is kind of like a language cleanup, hard seltzers and things like that didn't exist, and then we've all seen, if you've been to an event, whether it's at,
So a beer is a beer.
Yeah.
A seltzer is, if we stretch it, it's a malt, which is, the alcohol is generated from the same process. But the hard seltzer is a distilled liquor is injected into the drink. That's where we just have a gap. So, and we're seeing the trend, we're seeing the demographics at football and concerts isn't solely just beer as the go-to drink. We're seeing a little diversity, so this would give us a little regulation.
and then we're also seeing the more than the 22 ounces, like what comes from, I'll just say Anheuser-Busch or whatever, those like bigger cans that you get at wherever you go to a venue, the 25 ounces.
Yeah, we're seeing like 23.4 ounces. So we're talking 3 ounces at the end of the day. That's basically the conversation we have. Allow our regulation to manage those additional 3 ounces with these kind of beverages, and I think we'll be in a good spot.
And these are in containers,
Yep.
not in cups?
The packaging, even the industry on packaging is essentially, but what we've seen is containers. I would say the draft cups for beer are probably closer to the 24, but the packaging of the aluminum cans is like 23.4 for some of the seltzers.
So we do have another long motion. That's really kind of language cleanup for the concerns that Chief brought up. When we actually took a close look at the regulations, I think there was 3 things there that needed cleanup. So any further questions or discussion on the 3 items in the long motion that's here for what Chief has described? No?
No.
Okay, sorry, this one's even longer than the last one.
Motion to amend the Select Board's policy entitled rules and regulations for holders of alcohol beverage licenses in the town of Foxborough. Move to amend the language of Section 1, definitions of the town of Foxborough's rules and regulations for holders of alcoholic beverages licenses as follows. Number 1, alcoholic beverage as used herein shall mean any liquid intended for human consumption as a beverage and containing 0.5% or more of alcohol by volume at 60 degrees Fahrenheit. And for the purposes of these regulations, said term shall include without limitation beer, wine, hard seltzers, hard ciders, alcohol-infused beverages, malt beverages, and any other beverage subject to regulation and licensure pursuant to GLC 138. Number 7, a beer shall mean a maximum of 25 fluid ounces of beer in a container unless otherwise authorized by the chief of police. And insert in a new section 22 to read as follows, and remember the following sections in sequence. Number 22, unless otherwise expressly provided in these rules and regulations, no alcoholic beverage as defined herein shall be served in a container exceeding 25 fluid ounces in volume without prior written authorization by the chief of police.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor? So John, if we can just have those updated?
Yep.
Posted to the website, and then I think Katie just sent these out to everyone. We should probably,
We will notify all
Yeah, get them
license
out to
holders so
everyone
that
as
everybody's
well.
aware of the change
Yep.
in the regulation.
okay. All right, perfect. So, that's it for those 2 items. Thank you very
And
much.
can I get my vote for the Founder's Day Committee right now? Yeah. We're all set with the police department.
Okay,
We have
all
a
right,
plan in
okay,
place,
yep.
okay?
We've done this a time or two before? Okay. All right, thank you. I know a lot of work has gone into this, a lot of conversation, so thank you very much.
We got there. Good team.
Yes. All right, and next up, we have the Founder's Day Committee. I know we know who you are, but if you can introduce yourselves to everyone at home. You coming up? Oh, no, okay, just one. Okay, and we apologize that, we're about 40 minutes behind.
That's okay.
So-
Our actual Founders Day meeting is going on right now, so either way, we're in a meeting.
Sunglasses.
Glasses.
Oh, yes, I might need those tomorrow.
So, thanks. My name's Scott O'Donnell. I'm the chairman of Foxborough Founders Day. Monica Fissler, go ahead.
Parade chairman for Founders Day.
Who's been saying they're going to give it up for many years now?
I know,
Here you
it's
are
just
again.
hard to give up. It's so much fun. It's hard to.
If anybody wants to run for chairman, you'll be running unopposed.
Sort of like Steph.
Just come on in. Exactly. So, a lot of same again as far as the features and everything that's concerned. We do have a couple of changes. We have a new town manager, John. We met at the election, so you're familiar with. You had a similar kind of gig at in Northborough.
In Northborough, it was Apple Fest.
Okay.
And that went for days.
It
so
was.
this
I was
is
going to say it
easier.
was a couple of days. I heard.
We get it done in one day. It's a long day, but we get it done.
Yes.
As you guys probably know, we have the parade, a lot of music. We end with the awesome fireworks. In the middle, we have a field day, and it is all nonprofits, local church groups, sports groups, what have you. That's kind of why we do it, you know. The parade's fun, fireworks are fun. This is some people's biggest fundraiser of the year, so that's a big part of it as well. So, and also a lot of people think that we're part of the town. We're not. We're a private nonprofit. And that said, when we're a small group, that said, it doesn't happen with the town, police, fire, admin, DPW. It doesn't happen without you guys, so we really appreciate that. The fire department, Deputy Chief Buckley really steps up in recent years, and boy, it's almost hands off between Atlas Pyrotech and the Massachusetts, fire people at the state level, and it's just been so seamless, and it's worked out great, and the fireworks are great. So that said, we really appreciate the town, and obviously we have a tight budget. We spend about almost exactly what we get in for donations, and every year I'm blown away. The townspeople individually and the local businesses step up every year. So thank you for that. A couple small changes. Oh, and just to let you know, we do have our boot drive on Memorial Day. That's a Saturday, and it goes from 7 a.m. to 1 p.m. You see us out there with the rockets. It's similar to a boot drive. We call it the rocket drive. And this year, we're going to try to smooth the traffic flow a little bit better. We have the stickers that we hand out that say, "I donated," kind of a get-out-of-jail-free pass. If you come through the town again, you already donated. It's going to have a...
A Venmo code on it. Is it
Yeah,
Venmo?
what do they call it?
Oh.
QR code, yeah.
A QR
Okay,
code.
Yeah, we're high-tech over here.
yeah.
So that's
Trying to
gonna
do
have
our
that on
best.
there. So if someone wants to donate later, that way if they don't have change, they won't be fumbling for change and stuff like that. Also, an ease of use and a safety thing as well. We're gonna cut the parade off at Carpenter Street, so they're not gonna go towards the booth after that. If you can
Okay.
picture the end of the parade coming down South Street, they're just gonna take a left on Carpenter Street, and, you know, that'll be that there. It was just real awkward at the end of, there was really no ending and no place to stop and turn around, except for the booth area,
actual parking lot.
which is full of kids and cars and stuff, so we just said, you know, there's a couple houses, I'll apologize to the Morrisons, but there's, you know, it kind of made sense to end it there.
And just with the start of the parade being up at 132 Central, we thought it would be easy for anybody who had vehicles that they were parking,
Right.
that they would be able to get back to their vehicles without getting back into parade flow if they were turning around and coming back.
So things, because a lot of them go to the field, though.
Correct.
So how is that going to look?
Those groups that, and most of them have contacted me ahead of time to say, hey, we're gonna head down to our field with our float, is that okay?
Mm-hmm.
We will make sure that they get onto the field going down the booth parking lot
Right.
access.
Okay.
So we are making concessions for that, but we do have a couple of groups that just can't make that turn, and they can't go down to the high school to turn around and come back. So we thought, for the few small groups that do go onto the field, that we would allow those people, we would know well in advance what vehicle is making their way down and who will be turning at Carpenter Street.
Right, we do have the Lions Club, there are a
The
few that,
iMobile.
the iMobile, yeah, they participate in the parade, then they have their float or whatever situation they have is a part of our field day as well, so there will be the odd few that go that way. But way less traffic, it just makes way more sense.
Will there be
for-
like a barricade now so people will know too that are pedestrians that there's no parade coming by
So
there?
we just talked about that tonight at the meeting, and Scott, this is new
Oh,
information to
sorry,
you.
yeah.
Okay.
We have sandwich boards that we are going to put signs on both sides of the sandwich board, letting people know. Publicity-wise, we're going to make sure Frank, our publicity person, lets it get into the papers. When we go to do Foxboro Cable Access, we'll make sure that we make mention of it. I think in my parade paperwork, I did put that the parade is going to stop at Carpenter Street this year. So anybody who has any concerns, they're more than welcome to contact me, and we can kind of talk through it. But we've seen maybe a handful, 4 or 5 that actually go onto the field from the parade. So the iMobile is probably one of the biggest, and in the past, we had a nonprofit group who took their float and put it out onto the field and fundraised on the field
Yeah.
for Founder's Day, so it was great.
Okay, yeah, because most of the fire apparatus is down
Right.
in that, so, okay.
It's just easier to
Yeah,
have them take
yep.
a left on Carpenter and
And
kind of
then
get out of the mix.
I know the fire department tends to park on Carpenter Street with their apparatus, but I think by the time they all get back around, only the few that are staying for the field actually stay, and they make their way behind the IGO so that they've parked their vehicles back there. So hopefully, groups won't have any issues cutting down Carpenter Street to get back.
Okay. All
Did I
right.
miss anything?
No, I think you did a great job.
No, thanks.
I do just want to talk, so we talked about the parade route, starting at 132, going down around the Common Bird, just because it is a public way, I like to let everyone know where it's going. Down Bird, down Mechanic, Railroad Bird, up, down Carpenter, okay.
Correct. Correct.
School Carpenter, okay. All right, I know I usually circle back and then sit in front of the skate park and watch it again, so I'll have to
That's a good spot.
figure it out.
Oh, sorry, yeah.
Yeah, not yet, no, yeah. All right. So we'll have to get that PSA. We'll work on
Yeah,
that
so
tonight too.
we
Maybe they'll
will-
pick it up.
We've put it on our website, and I know we worked do we work with you last year to update? Yeah, so we'll do the same this year to get that information out. We're trying our hardest. We were trying to just make it so that it was feasible for everybody. And last year, we had groups that turned down Carpenter Street because they didn't know. And as a committee, we thought just safety concerns of the groups that were trying to turn around and come back because they needed to get back to their vehicles, that this just made more sense to have it. And it is a little bit shorter, but I think gesture-wise, it's.
Yeah, it's not much shorter.
Yeah.
No, it's just a little bit, no. Yeah, it's just, I think people, once they get back into the rhythm, you might remember, we didn't do it for 2 years up until last year,
Right.
so.
Right.
And that was, so we were happy to have it back, and now we'll get back in a rhythm, and we'll get new features every year, but yeah, we're psyched, so.
Okay, great. Any questions? So the parade's at 9, the roads will close a little bit earlier than that, obviously.
Parade's at 10.
Oh, parade's at 10, so
Parade's at 10.
so roads close at 9, which is what we've got,
Between
okay.
9 and 9:30.
Yeah.
Police department has control over that.
Okay.
They will, and we're in constant communication with them, so we will know. And
We have some upcoming meetings, you might want to mention.
upcoming,
We're meeting with the DPW and the
we
police
do
department.
have a meeting with a core group this Friday with the town. We're meeting with the DPW, we're meeting with the town manager. I think Mark Craig, I'm not sure if he's able to come, but I know that we.
Especially where he has recreation now, so.
Right,
that
so
makes sense.
just
The fields.
so they know that, they know our plan for the day. It doesn't change much over the year, it hasn't changed much in the 15 years I've done it. It's just nice to be on the same page with everybody, so they're aware of what's happening on that day, because it is a big day. And the police department starts setting out parking cones so people don't park down Central Street. They start doing that Saturday morning, so just to make patrons know of the shops that are around that is going to happen. So we'll meet with them this Friday and kind of go through the whole day, including field events that happen and what we're doing on the field, and then going straight into fireworks, what happens with security and detail.
And you guys doing the shuttles again?
So I just reached out to our partner.
I
He
missed
is
one
going
meeting.
to-
So you're learning a lot.
So I just happened to text him yesterday.
Okay.
So he is going to let me know. He wanted to know the dates and the times. If the shuttles are able to run, they're going to run from 8:30 to 9:30 in the morning. For anybody who may have to park down at the booth, who's got the permit to park down at the booth, the shuttles will run from there back up to 132 Central. It will stop during the parade, and then I said between 11:30 and 2:30, when people are at the field and they need to move about town, they'll be able to take the shuttles.
Yeah, I think did we take it last? No, I didn't take it, no.
No, there was
we were waiting for it.
miscommunication with the shuttle last year, so we'll make sure. I don't know that the shuttle knew to go to the spot where it was, because there were some mix-ups with the actual signage. So we will make sure that is set. And last year, we traveled with the shuttle once around, so he knew where all the stops were, but I think that it.
And we
was
do have all
the-
that parking at the Schneider lot too, so
That's
keep in
a
mind,
huge
there's a
help.
ton
that's a
of
good-
parking, and it's
that is
close
a-
there too, so.
That's
We
a
have to
good
have
For your-
point. Yeah,
make
Make
that
sure you
known,
include that,
We
yeah.
want to put it on the map on,
Yeah.
Right.
on the reporter.
Yeah, I'm sure Paige, if she has the latest map, the Uptown map too, that has all the parking spots and lots, if you want to kind
Oh,
of
that's
use that.
perfect.
Yeah.
No, the
Yeah.
shuttle was
Sure.
a great donation, and it's such it was a huge feature that we added over the last couple times we had Founder's Day, so yeah.
Yeah. All right, great. Any other questions? Ready for a vote? All right.
Okay, motion to approve the use of public way application for Founder's Day on June 10th from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m.
Second.
Any further discussion? All right, all those in favor? We're excited. Hi.
Thank
Thanks,
you. I
guys.
can't
We'll see you
wait.
on the
Thank
10th.
you so
Yeah, it's
much.
coming up
Appreciate it.
fast.
It is.
Yeah, tell me about it.
John, we usually march in the parade. Did anyone tell you that?
Oh, I'll be there.
Okay.
I meant to mention that, go ahead.
That's mine. I have started to send out the letters to the different committees. We try and invite every committee that would like to come join and march in the parade. It's just a fun event, and you get to see a little bit about the people who come out for the day. So we're excited to have you join us this year.
And the health department and rec board and.
School committee.
School committee, they're gonna have a table on the field. If you guys wanna participate, that'd be
Okay.
great.
Oh, they already have tables?
They have asked for tables, so.
Oh,
We'll extend the deadline for you guys. Not a
Yeah.
problem.
Okay,
All right, that's fine.
That's our sales pitch.
okay. All right,
Thanks so
great.
much, we really
All right,
appreciate it.
thank you
Thanks
for all
having
you
us.
do.
Appreciate it.
All right,
care.
thanks. Sorry we were so late.
No, that's fine. Good to learn about the stadium.
Right? All right, so next we have the audit committee report, and Dennis is our audit committee member. We all do have a report here and a recommendation, but I think that we've learned some new news, so I don't know how much. If you want to kind of run through that with the board.
I'll go through the minutes really quickly, and then we can talk about an issue that's come up. The Audit Committee had a meeting on April 4th to discuss both the FY22 audit status and the FY23 audit engagement. Audit Committee discussed the best practice of changing auditors after a certain number of years and the benefits of changing audit firms periodically. The town has been using the same audit firm for over 10 years. So looking at best practices and turning to the Government Finance Officers Association, they recommend multi-year agreements of at least 5 years in duration, after which a full competitive selection process or rotation of senior engagement staff should occur. So the Audit Committee voted unanimously to recommend to the Select Board to instruct management to perform a request for proposal from a minimum of 3 audit firms. Ideally, management should obtain the RFP from at least 5 audit firms. The Audit Committee also is recommending that management exclude the current audit firm from this RFP process. Hopefully, the RFP due date will be the end of May to allow us time to review the proposals before the start of the new fiscal year in July. The Audit Committee will convene again sometime in June to review the RFPs and make our recommendations on the audit firm selection and audit scope to the Select Board. None of this relates to the competence or professionalism or capability of the current auditor and the work that he's done over a number of years. It's really the best practice that really exists not only in the private sector, but in the public sector in terms of, how often should you actually change your audit firm. So, trying to go forward before this was all put together, we came to understand that the current auditor has a 3-year contract. When did his contract start?
It was signed November of last year, so the audit will flow through fiscal 23 and 24.
Right. So, and then we learning that new information, we decided that, just to bring it here, that we don't want to try to break the contract or terminate the contract. We don't think that's appropriate under the circumstances. And we are comfortable with, changing the recommendation to, at the end of his contract, everything that's here will be executed in the same way and same fashion at the end of his contract.
Okay, great. And I imagine there'll be another report next year that'll probably be more timely for that, now that we have that new information, so.
Right.
So is this a learning moment, though, too? Is there a reason why the contract was signed and nobody knew that it didn't come either before this board or probably more to the audit committee?
Didn't come to the audit committee.
And I don't think it would come to our board. I think that's an operational issue that I would think it would run through the town manager's office. So, definitely information that would have been helpful for the board to have, for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Well, I think the audit committee didn't.
Yeah,
need
but I
to
mean, for the
review
audit
this,
committee,
so
yeah,
that's-
yeah,
That's why it happened.
right, yeah.
It's not uncommon for, the contracts to move forward unless there's an issue with the auditor, but as I did meet with the audit committee, and I did inform them, one of the things I just did before I left Northborough was we put ours out to bid. It's not a difficult process, and, we can do this as soon as the contract is near expiring. We can put it out to bid. I think the current auditor knows that the town is likely to do that, so I don't see any issues with this.
Good.
I just want to give a shout out to the audit committee and Larry Oye for the work that they've been doing. This committee was really not very active before he took over as chair, and they're very diligently and seriously going after about the work of being a very effective audit committee, and they're doing a great job. And all the people on the committee are very committed and dedicated. So
Yeah, and have really great background to be on that committee, so it's a really great committee. Thank you for all that, and thank you, Larry, for kind of getting it back going, because we are supposed to get a report every year. And, you know, I know that there's probably been years that it's kind of just fallen by the wayside. So Larry got this going again, and we'll make sure that we keep an eye on it, especially John, you know, going forward. We'll
Absolutely.
keep a close eye.
Everything got a little bit off track during COVID.
Yeah.
You know, just everything is off schedule slightly. So, and the complications of the CARES Act and the ARPA funding with all the federal aid put everybody behind. So audits, you know, we always, in Northborough, where I came from, we were always trying to be the first audit to get done, and we were all over our auditor, and they were just backed up. So it's just, we'll get back on a regular schedule and proceed accordingly.
All right, so up next, we have an open meeting law complaint that was received regarding our April 25th meeting. We do have a draft response here that we want the board to look at. Since it's from you, do you mind just kind
Yeah,
of
would you
giving
like me to walk you through this?
Yeah, do you mind just giving a quick overview?
No, not at all. So the complaint is related to the April 25th meeting of the board. And after posting of the agenda, which has to be done 48 hours in advance, as you know, we wanted to get, we're trying to work with local folks, and the POW missing in action flagpole installation was the request to come on. So we amended the agenda that Monday, so the 24th, for the meeting on the 25th, which is perfectly legal to do. But we got a complaint from a gentleman from Northport, Alabama, so nothing local. But it's two minor technical issues. One is when you amend an agenda, you have to amend the original agenda, and the town clerk had left the original agenda up and then put the amended agenda. Which, so again, if you, as a public member, if you went up, you could easily figure out what was going on here. But there's a technicality that you have to amend the original. So that's number one. The second is, I think it's been a long practice, you know, just posting agendas, is it says the Foxborough Town Hall, you know, the gala room. I don't think there's anybody who couldn't figure out where the Foxborough Town Hall is if you wanted to, if you needed to. But technically, on the agendas, there should be the address of the location. So the two minor administrative errors, we've put things in place now. I met with Bob Cutler, the town clerk. He'll make sure that if there's ever an amended agenda, that the original gets amended, and that any agenda that gets posted for any board or committee, we want to make sure that it has the address on it. So what's in your packet is an acknowledgement of those two minor administrative oversights, and a letter that goes back to the complainant, as well as going back to the Attorney General's office. And in my opinion, this very quickly and easily resolves it.
Mm-hmm. And just to clarify too, on the agenda from the 25th, they had come to us in time, and I think Christine and I just forgot to get it on the agenda. So it wasn't that they came to us late, if I'm recalling, right? Yeah, I don't think that they came to us late. I think it was like, oh, the agenda was posted, and then, oh shoot, we're supposed to add that and kind of forgot. So it was a little bit of our own.
Not a controversial
Yeah,
issue, not a.
little of our own clerical.
This is trying to
yeah.
work with you know, community groups.
Yeah. So, all right. So we will mail out that complaint response, and
that should resolve the issue.
yes, that should resolve the issue. Okay, great, thanks. So keep going with you right into the town manager's update.
So been a busy couple of weeks. I had met with the seniors on the 26th, and it was a very lively group. A pretty large group showed up, and I feel like it went well. Did get a tour. You know, we talked tonight about the Gillette Stadium North End, so I did get a tour with the building inspector through that project, which was very helpful for me to get a real understanding and preparation, you know, for this meeting tonight. Met with the audit committee. We held a capital improvement planning committee meeting as well. Took care of some year-end things. I also got a very long tour, a good tour of all the recreational facilities. So I toured with Heather, Renee, and then Mark Craig, the director of Human Services. And then held a pre-town meeting, which was interesting for me since, you know, obviously I'm coming late to the process this cycle, but held the pre-town meeting on May 3rd. That went very well. And then ultimately it all culminated last night with town meeting, which I have to say I was impressed with how smooth it went. Clearly, there's a great deal of confidence in the boards and committees and the finances of the town. There's very little debate or discussion, if any, regarding the budget, and a couple articles, obviously, we spent some time talking on, but overall, I thought it was an excellent example of of a well-run meeting by a town that clearly has, its act together. So it was a nice roll-in for me for a first town meeting, not having been part of the ramp-up to it. So overall, I was just impressed with the town and looking forward to digging in a little bit more in the next cycle. The only other thing, I just want to acknowledge that we have a $100 donation to the Canine Fund from Deb and Mike Stewart, and that's all I have this evening.
And that donation is in memory of Janet Kennedy, who was, the canine program was near and dear to her heart.
And one other thing, Deb reached out to me just to include that Linda Walsh was also part of that donation.
So I actually was just texting her about that. I said, did you check? I think Linda Walsh was part of that donation.
It just wasn't on like the
If it,
transfer
yeah,
paper,
might not
it
have
just
been
had her
on the
name.
check
so.
or the memo.
Okay,
so.
Apologies
you
for
got it.
that
Well,
oversight.
as long as we recognize her, that's all that matters.
Very good.
Okay. Anything else? That's it? Before we go into Selectmen's update? All right, so we have the Senior Olympics begin May 15th, which is always fun. DPW open house, May 20th. And then under new business, you guys know this is a sticking point for me, is getting these appointments and committees all accurate. So we have a draft list here. Has the list gone out to the chairs, though?
No, not yet, I'm still working.
So we've got to get that out like this week. Because I know someone came up to me after town meeting last night and said, I think I'm up for appointment. I haven't heard anything, so I know people are starting to ask. So let us know if you see anything on this list that doesn't look right to you guys. And then we need to think about too, our own appointments. So the EDC is Seth, Town Asset Review Committee, also Seth, Audit Committee, and CIP, Dennis. So if we want to switch any of those up, or you're interested in any, just, start thinking about it. We're not taking a vote or anything tonight, but we will be doing that in a future meeting coming up. Do we think we'll do that
The
May 23rd then? So we really don't have a lot of time to get all this out to every chair and have every chair get it out to every person.
I've talked to most of the boards, and I think
Okay.
it's going to be reappointment, so
Okay.
there's only a few that are not an issue.
Okay. Design review falls off, and that was the one that had asked me.
Okay.
So I don't know that one went out, so just double check on that one. Okay. Old business, I don't have anything. Does anyone else have anything new or old?
Can we just, we were all there last night, and, but it was such a small group at town meeting, maybe just a congratulations to Debbie Giardino
Yes.
for that article passing for her pavilion. I don't know if, she sent me a picture this morning, I don't know if you know, she voted for it twice.
Yes.
She had two hands up in the air, I couldn't really see her, but anyhow, congratulations to Deb. Well, we've talked about it for a well-earned honor for her, and I think she said, maybe in the fall will be like the actual ribbon cutting, if you want to say, for it. So anyhow, congratulations to Deb.
Yeah, and that, speaking of recreation ribbon cutting, that pickleball one.
That's actually going to be on, the pickleball courts weren't finished, so that's
Okay.
going to be May 23rd at 6 p.m.
Okay, all right. Do we have an email on that one? I could have very well missed that.
No.
Okay,
It
all right.
was just finalized today.
Okay,
so
okay.
There's going to be an official invitation coming out.
All right, great. And then we just have a few action items.
Oh, one more thing?
Yes, yes.
Oh, I'm sorry, under Selectmen, I just want to mention what a great job you've done over the last 2 years.
Oh, thank
I
you.
think as chair, you led us beautifully, and just wanted to let everybody know that
Okay.
I thought you did a great job.
There's a couple things I haven't finished, so.
You could
if
be
you don't
ad
mind me,
hoc committee,
keep working on the communications plan. There's a couple things
It's on my
that,
to-do list.
that I'm not letting go of, if you guys don't mind. I just like to see them through, get them done. All right, great. So, under action items, we've got a couple action items this evening. I think one or two may have some discussion, so.
Yeah, okay. You want the motion?
Yeah.
Okay. Motion to approve the renewal of 2 pool table licenses for Rally Point Pub and Inn at 9 Mechanic Street, and 2 pool table licenses VFW Foxborough Post 2626 at 337 Cocasset Street.
Second,
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
all right.
Motion to approve extended hours request for VFW Foxborough Post 2626 to begin serving alcohol at 1 p.m. on Memorial Day, May 29th, and Labor Day, September 4th, and 10 a.m. on Thanksgiving Day, November 23rd.
Second,
So under further discussion, given some of the stuff that had come up at our last meeting with them. I did reach out to Chief Grace and made sure that he was comfortable with this, and he was. So I just wanted to let the board know that I did have that discussion with him. We do have Katie Lang on Zoom. Did you have anything to add to that one, Katie? Are you good?
I did. I just wanted to see if we could just only approve the Memorial Day and then wait to approve Labor Day, the Thursday, November 23rd before Thanksgiving, and then the Patriots games, just because we do have some time when the Patriots schedule comes out, and then just have it be a little bit more clean that way. And I just wanted to make sure that they are aware, if they are opening at the 10 a.m. to serve alcohol, that food service does need to be included. I just wanted to make sure everyone was all set with that on the VFW side before we make that approval.
All right, so we're going to amend this to just do Memorial Day, which is May 29th, and then we'll look at Labor Day and the football games down the road. I think that's a
Yes,
great
please,
idea.
and I can have them
Yeah,
submitted
I
in
like
the
that.
letter.
Okay. All right, I like that. So we've amended it to just be Memorial Day, the 29th at 1 p.m. All right. No further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Thanks, Katie.
Thank you.
Motion to accept a $5,000 donation for the Recreation Department's Booth Summer Program from St. Albans Lodge, AF and AM.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion to approve the March 28th, 2023 Select Board meeting minutes.
Second.
Under further discussion, the address of the gala meeting room's not on the minutes. I don't know if we should get in the habit of including that too, just coming off the last discussion.
Sure.
Doesn't hurt, so we may just want to, as amended, on both of these for that. So all those in favor?
Aye.
Motion to approve the April 11th, 2023 Select Board meeting minutes.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
I'm going to just abstain because I wasn't there.
All right, and just a motion to
Motion
adjourn.
to adjourn.
Second.
All those
Oh,
in favor?
wait a minute.
Up.
But I am listed as being there. So
Which one is that? April 11th. Okay.
Apologies.
All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
All right, now motion to adjourn. Sorry.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you.